Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I honestly did not have any intention of filming this specific video on this specific day. However, the last video that I did, I had talked about a new corrector that I had gotten, and I had asked if y'all wanted to see a separate corrector video, and an overwhelming amount of you said yes. So I am not only going to talk about correctors, but I was thinking about, how I was going to do this video, and I got to thinking about how so many people also ask me, what do you suggest for puffiness? What do you suggest for sallowness? So I thought I would just do a basic overall under eye video and give you my tips and tricks and what I feel like works the best for all kinds of under eye concerns. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is eye cream. I know a lot of people are diehard eye cream fans, and then I know a lot of people are like, eye cream is just a marketing thing. Just take whatever skincare products you're using and put them under your eyes. You can be in either camp. I personally love an eye cream and I use one morning and night. But I also think that there are certain eye creams that give instantaneous yet temporary results. And so I wanted to show you a few of them that I have that I feel like do that. This is specifically for darkness and puffiness. And when you are dealing with puffiness, whether it be from genetics or allergies or dehydration, there's so many, lack of sleep, so many reasons we can have puffy under eyes. I like to reach for one of these eye creams because I do feel like that while the results, again, are not long lasting, they do help decrease the puffiness. And the reason all of these I feel like work is because they all contain caffeine. So caffeine really helps to accelerate blood flow. It helps that blood circulate around your eyes. So it helps, in my opinion, depuff, while it also helps brighten. It also constricts those blood vessels. So again, the puffiness isn't as noticeable. So a couple that I have in my kit. This I have been using for years upon years. I honestly think this was like the first eye cream I ever used in my professional kit, and I always have some. This is the MAC Fast Response Eye Cream. Just really, really good. This is formulated, I believe, to work really well under makeup, and it's got that caffeine. So it is, just like the name implies, a fast responding eye cream that's going to help brighten and depuff pretty instantaneously. Another one that I also have used on myself as well, but I have depotted quite a bit of it, I don't know if you'll be able to see, into my kit, is from Hollowness. This is the Pro Collagen Eye Revive Mask. This one has the caffeine, so it helps do all of those things, but I also feel like this one is extremely smoothing. It almost acts like a primer for under your eyes. So if you're someone that also struggles with fine lines and wrinkles, putting something like this on under the eyes that has the caffeine as well as that smoothing primer effect to it is going to really help your under eyes look their best, especially when you're putting makeup on. Now, a couple that I personally love, this is probably my favorite out of all of them, and I'm out. I had to pull it out of my empties, but this is the Color Science Total Eye Firm and Repair Cream. This also has that very smoothing kind of texture like the Hollowness, so it works really well under makeup and just instantly helps revive the under eyes. And then the Chantecaille Stress Repair Concentrate. Again, another one that has caffeine in it. This one is more of a cream formula, so it's going to be maybe a little bit more moisturizing. I don't feel like the Color Science and the Hollowness are drying by any means, but this one has more of that standard cream formula versus that smoothing, almost silicone-y feel. So even if you aren't someone who loves eye creams, I would look into maybe starting to apply some, even if it's only in the morning under makeup, and see if that helps with some of your concerns, especially if those concerns are the fine lines, the puffiness, and the darkness. So let's talk about correctors, which is what everybody wanted to know about. I struggle with very, very, very dark under eyes. It's genetic. Nothing I do makes them better. It's not because I'm dehydrated. It's not because I have allergies. Now, all of that can make them worse, but I have them regardless. So I have always had a need for a corrector. Now, I've had some people say, why not just use a concealer? Why use a corrector? So I'm here to tell you. A corrector is meant to neutralize discoloration. So if I were to take this palette, for instance, and I took a concealer and I applied the concealer onto this black, and then I blended it out. What's gonna happen is the concealer is just going to look gray and ashy because it's blending in with this dark color versus having a neutral canvas to apply to. So when you have a lot of darkness on your under eyes, you really want to neutralize that so that you can keep your concealer from looking ashy and so that you can get the best, fullest coverage. I know there are a lot of heavier full coverage concealers that some people say you don't need a corrector, they cover darkness great. But my thing is I would rather work in very, very thin layers than stick a very full coverage concealer on under my eyes and worry about caking and creasing. If you apply the corrector and the concealer correctly, you are not gonna have caking and creasing because it's all about the very thin layers. So typically when you're working on your under eyes, you're gonna wanna look for a corrector that is either pink or peach in undertone. So I'm going to pop up a picture of a color wheel, and this is a very easy way to see what color corrector you are gonna wanna look for in the case of what you're trying to correct. So if you look at the kind of blues and purples on the color wheel, which a lot of the discoloration under our eyes tends to be, and you look directly across, you're gonna see oranges and peaches, and that's gonna tell you, hey, I'm gonna need to look for those colors to correct that issue of darkness under my eyes. Same as when you look at like the pinks on the color wheel, the reds, and you go across and you see greens. That's why green color correctors work so well to correct redness. So it's an easy way if you're like, I don't know what color I need to be, just Google that color wheel and you'll find it. But the majority of under eye color correctors are going to be peach or orange, and some of them are gonna be pink. If you have very, very, very fair skin tone, I would look at the pink colors. The Armani Master Corrector in pink is one I carry in my kit for my very fair clients, and I love it. It works wonders. But the majority of the ones I'm gonna show you are peach, and some are a little bit orange in undertone. So I'm not gonna go in depth on every single one of these. I have used these in videos on my channel. If you go to my channel page and search, you can see me applying these. But the one that kind of started this whole do you want me to do a corrector video is the new Bobbi Brown corrector stick. So I used this in my last video, and it is the stick version of their cult favorite correctors that have always come in the little compacts, the little mini pots. So this is a much easier stick version. I applied it in that. I'll cut away to me applying it today as well, and you'll be able to see that when I put a little bit in the most inner corner, and I do come out about halfway under my eye, and then blend it out. You can use a sponge, a brush, your finger, whatever you choose. It really does good work in correcting the under eyes. And I'm not saying it covers everything, but it helps to neutralize that darkness. So I have been really loving this. This is in Bisque, and I'll swatch all these for you. So you can say this is one of the more peachy colors for sure, but Bobbi Brown has a lot of different shades to choose from. And because they are so many, I would suggest going in store if you are not familiar with the color line. Now, another one that I absolutely love, I actually carry this one in my kit because I feel like this one works the best universally on all under eyes because it's not too drying, but it covers really well, and it's just got that nice moisture factor, but it works under every single concealer that I have used it under. And that is the Fit Glow Beauty Correct in Peach. Now they also have a darker color as well. They have a brightener, which is more yellow, but the peach is my favorite. It comes in a doe foot, and I think you'll even be able to tell from the swatch when it hits the light how it is more moisturizing than that Bobbi Brown. If you have oily under eyes, I know that's an issue. You're not gonna wanna go for something as moisturizing. You're gonna wanna go for something in the stick form or one of the other ones that I'm gonna show you because they're gonna hold up a little bit better. But if you need that extra moisture under their eyes, I really like the Fit Glow. Now, another one that I think would work great under oily eyes and that does have a learning curve, I have talked about this so much, but it's so good, is the Jane Iredale Enlighten Plus. Now, this is marketed as a concealer. You could definitely just use it as a concealer. But the reason that I like to top my correctors with concealers is kind of twofold. One, I'm just neutralizing that area, right? I'm not necessarily taking away all of the darkness. So I'm wanting to add a little bit more coverage. When I'm working in super thin layers and not piling the corrector on, I still might need a little bit more coverage. So I like to top it with a concealer. But I also find that a lot of these, because they are peachy and orange in undertone, and while they do mix with the darkness under my eyes and become more even toned, sometimes that peach and orange can still linger. And in that case, I'm gonna make sure to want to cover that with a skin color concealer, and I just feel like it looks better. But this one is marketed as a concealer, and depending on the color, you could definitely use it alone because it is the highest coverage out of all the ones that I'm going to talk about. It also has SPF 30 in it, which is fabulous, but it comes in a pump form, and when I tell you this is all you need, it's more than you need. Can you even see it on my finger? You do not need more than this, and when you apply more than that, you're not gonna like it. It's gonna be too heavy. This is a thicker formula, but because of that, right there, if you can see it, because of that, it is so high coverage. So I just make sure to really warm it up. I have a cutaway of it. Really warm it up on my hand and then just tap it in. The warmth of your finger after warming it up on your skin on your hand is going to help melt it in. So while there is a learning curve to this, it is still one of my very favorites because of how full coverage it is and how it has the SPF 30 in it, which I feel like is so important. Now, another one that has SPF 30 and is marketed as kind of a total eye. I know some people say they wear it as their concealer just by itself. And I do feel like this color melts into my skin better and doesn't leave too much of a peachy undertone. This is actually SPF 35. This is Color Science Total Eye 3-in-1 Renewal Therapy. I am in the color medium and I'm in the color, 1 in the Jane Iredale. Again, it's got this peachy undertone to it, but it's a little bit brighter and it tends to melt in more. But you can see it's like, okay, a little bit drier, a little bit more moisturizing, a little bit drier, a little bit more moisturizing. So depending on, what your concerns are and your skin type is going to help you determine which one's the best. But I love all of these. They all work on me. So that is the Color Science. Again, great because it has a lot of moisturizing factors and it's got the SPF 35. However, I don't find it has the most coverage out of all of these. In fact, it's definitely on the lighter coverage side as far as correcting darkness goes. Another one that I have, and this one's a little bit darker. So if you have a little bit of a darker skin tone, so I said the fair is good with pink, light to medium tan could do peach. And then if you start getting into the darks and deeps, you're gonna wanna look for the more orange shades in correctors to make sure you get the most benefits of the neutralizing of the skin. This one is from Chanel and it is their Corrector de Chanel. And this is in the color Peche or Peach. Comes in a doe foot. Again, not the highest coverage out of all the ones that I have, but I do like it. And that's the color right there. You can see it's a little bit darker. So when I do choose to use this, I tend to pick a concealer that may be a shade lighter than my skin tone to kind of help balance those colors out. They also, I believe they have a rose one that has kind of like that pink undertone too. This one still works on me. I do have to, again, choose my concealers on top of it accordingly. But if you have deeper skin, this is a great one to go for. And then finally, I'm going to talk about my Beauty Pie Super Luminous Under Eye Genius Correctors. I have 2 shades in this. I will swatch them for you. I am not a fan of a super bright under eye. So when I first got this in the light to medium shade, which is right here, you can see this is the least peachy orange color of all the ones that I have swatched so far. It's more to brighten up, but it still does a very good job at correcting the darkness. However, it was a little too bright on me. So I got the medium deep as well, which is kind of similar to the Chanel in tone. So you can see it does have more of that peachy orange undertone, and it's gonna be great if you do have deeper skin tones on its own. I like mixing these, but you can see when it hits the light, how luminous this is. It truly is a super luminous product. So while it's going to help correct, it's also going to really reflect that light, bounce back, and just give a pretty luminous finish under the eyes. I am going to very quickly talk about a couple that I have that I don't love because I get asked about my opinions on these a lot. And one is from Charlotte Tilbury, and it is their Corrector. This is in the shade Medium 2. I know I said I don't love it, and I've hit pan. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? I don't love it under my eyes, so I occasionally will use this to prime my eyelids and get rid of the darkness on that so that I don't waste it. However, I just didn't find this really worked well under my eyes. It tended to accentuate things I didn't want accentuated. It got a little dry throughout the day, and no matter how much or how little, it just did not wear well for me. So it's not my favorite. And another one that a lot of people seem to like, and I don't dislike this one so much, I just don't ever reach for it and I don't love it. And it's the NARS Radiant Creamy Color Corrector. So this one is in the shade Light. They do have various shades of this. And it's just very thin. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but you can see my skin through that. It has a brush applicator. I brushed it on and it's not opaque. It doesn't have the best coverage. It's a little patchy under the eyes. So it's just not my favorite. It's not the worst by any means, but I just don't find myself reaching for it. Now, once you have put that nice layer of color corrector under your eyes, you're gonna wanna follow up with a concealer. And again, find one that works for you. My two favorite right now are the Clinique Even Better and the Beauty Pie Everyday Skin Concealer. I have the Beauty Pie on today, but these are the ones that I reach for the most out of my vast selection of concealers at the moment. And I find I don't have to use as much when I have a corrector underneath. A light setting of powder and my under eyes are good to go for the entire day. Now, not all of us have darkness, right? But that doesn't mean we don't have a couple of other issues that we want to know how to work with. For instance, maybe you don't have darkness, but you have a lot of puffiness. I have clients ask me all the time, how do I get rid of this puffiness? A color corrector is not going to do anything for puffiness because it's just neutralizing color, not texture or, puffiness under the eyes. So what I like to do for clients that have puffy under eyes is think about your highlight and contouring methods. I know that sounds weird, but whenever you hear somebody talk about highlighting, if they talk about why they highlight in a certain place and why they contour in a certain place, when you contour, you are wanting to pull back the light. Okay, you're wanting to kind of suck that area of your face in, which is why people contour on their cheeks so they can, suck it in and make it look like they have better cheekbones than they might have. When you highlight, whether it be with a matte, lighter highlight color or a shiny one, you're wanting to bring that area out. You're wanting to pop those cheekbones to again give the illusion of better, bigger cheekbones. And when you put those two together, usually people get what they want. So when you're talking about reseeding and bringing forward, you also can bring those same techniques and concepts to your under eyes. So when you have puffiness, something that's sticking out that you want to recede, I like to put a little bit of a darker concealer on that area. Only on that area. If you go with a darker concealer under your whole eye, it might be a little too dark. I'm not someone who likes to go super light on their concealer under the entire eye ever. So if you got like a skin tone concealer for under your eye and then maybe got a shade darker for that puffiness and just put a couple dots, tap it in. You're not wanting to blend it away or put it anywhere other than the puffiness, but tap it in. That's going to help recede that area just like a contour does and make it a little less noticeable. The same exact thing can happen on the reverse side if you have sallowness, if you have the troughs that are kind of sinking in, which happens to all of us as we age, and you want to maybe level things out. And again, you don't have darkness. Even if you do have darkness, you can use that color corrector and then use the technique of highlighting that area. Bring it forward. So maybe use your skin tone concealer and take a little bit of a brightener or a shade or so lighter in concealer. And again, tap it just in that trough line and tap it in. It's going to help bring that area out. So really think about the contour and highlight techniques as you are working with your under eyes, depending on what you are working with. So hopefully that was helpful. I feel like I covered all of the issues that I've either been asked on camera or personally with clients sitting in my chair. Definitely worth looking into some of these techniques and seeing if they help you. I will have everything listed down below and linked. I do use affiliate links, so thank you very much for using them if you choose to. And if you have any additional questions, be sure and put them in the comment section below. Thank y'all so much for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. I hope you're all staying happy, healthy, safe, and sane, and that most of all, you go out and have a very blessed day.